So I'm getting jiggy with the hip wraps. Oh, how y'all doing? It's BENV, and today we are watching the greatest fucking bad television show ever made, Finding Bigfoot. Now, if you haven't seen Finding Bigfoot, oh boy, you're in for a fucking treat, let me tell you. Now, as you can probably tell, I've watched my fair share of Finding Bigfoot. It has been years since I've seen an episode, and I can't hardly remember shit about it, so if I've seen this episode, I don't know. I looked at it, it doesn't look familiar to me. This is one where they're trying to find Bigfoot in fucking Georgia. I'm guarantee you they're gonna talk to all these rednecks like, yeah, I was about half fucking lit, you know, and smoked a couple fucking blunts, and I swear to God, I saw me the fucking Bigfoot. Oh, let's get into it.
For over 50 years, the remote woods of northern Georgia have been a hotspot for Bigfoot activity.
Georgia has been a hotspot for people looking for Bigfoot activity. Georgia has been a hotspot for people saying that they saw Bigfoot activity. I wonder if that coincides with drunk redneck activity. If you haven't seen the Joe Rogan joke, I don't think he said it on a special. I think it's just a podcast where he said it, where he talked about, like, this is what you're gonna find this is what you won't find when looking for Bigfoot. But you know what you will find when looking for Bigfoot? Unfuckable white dudes. And I think he's got a point.
We're investigating a piece of footage that came from a dash cam.
What the crap?
I mean, that could be like a fucking floating paper. That could be a trash bag getting caught in the fucking wind, or a bear, because I'm pretty damn sure they got bears in Georgia. I think they do. Don't they have black bears in Georgia? Yeah, I'm from Oklahoma. I'm not an expert on that, but it's so low quality. Like, it looks like it got recorded with a fucking toaster. It could be anything. It could be me walking out there in a fucking black jumpsuit, and you wouldn't be able to fucking tell. I'm fucking Bigfoot. All right.
We came here to see if this video was it a guy in a monkey suit or was it the real deal?
Sometimes I wonder if they saw a squash or if they didn't just see the big, tall, hairy motherfucker. He's about to look like a Sasquatch-looking motherfucker.
The speed of the creature while it moves across the road seems very quick.
I wonder, like, what does it take to be qualified as a fucking Sasquatch expert? Like, you're not going to university and learning the megafauna of the Sassus squashes. You know, I guess the closest thing would be studying, like, ancient primates, like the Gigantopithecus, because that's essentially what Bigfoot is, the Gigantopithecus. Problem is, I think the Gigantopithecus has been extinct for at least 2,000, no, not 2,000, it's been extinct for at least 200,000 years, so we don't really even think humans ever saw the Gigantopithecus. You know, it sure as fuck ain't around now, you know, and before, if you guys haven't already been able to tell, no, I don't believe in Bigfoot. There's a lot of shit I do believe. I believe in the fucking Mothman. Yes, there's gonna be so many more jokes about me being country and a redneck now. Fucking, you know, the Mothman stole my catalytic converter in Point Pleasant, you know. But I do believe in the Mothman. I do believe in UFOs. I believe a lot of different conspiracy theories. Not like the really out there ones, but, you know, like fucking JFK, that kind of shit. I believe that stuff. Fucking Bigfoot? No, can't say I do.
And this is where our latest report comes from.
Oh shit, got the fucking Squatch report. Breaker 19, we do have a code brown, we do have a code Squatch. Be on standby, sending a team of unfuckable white dudes. Oh, I knew this would be great. I'm in a good fucking mood, man.
Looks like it's gliding, like it's almost like a human on a bicycle. You see the legs moving, but the shoulders and head hold fairly steady.
Okay. Cam, stop shaking. There we go. Okay. Now, this is something that I know from my degree in Joe Roganology, right? Bears can walk like 10 steps. Like, 3 steps is no big deal for a black bear. I was thinking he was talking about grizzlies when he's talked about that, but I'm sure black bears, it's a pretty similar story. You know, and I think half the time the people who aren't just completely full of shit, and they're either, it's dark and they can't see what they saw, maybe they were fucking drunk or high. In Georgia, I guarantee you, I know where a lot of them fucking Bigfoot sightings fucking came from. But, but I mean, this sounds like a bear, bro. Looks like a bear, you know, walks like a duck, quacks like a duck. Probably Bigfoot.
We came here to see this video. Was it a guy in a monkey suit, or was it the real deal?
I love his nickname, Bobo. It's too good. It's too perfect.
Was it a Sasquatch that they filmed?
BFRO expert field caller. That's his designation. Now, I know what the field calling shit is, and that's what I'm waiting to see, because I remember this vividly. You know, you'll see what the field calling is all about.
She was the passenger in the state trooper vehicle when the footage was obtained. We're going to take her back to where that was and ask her to tell us everything that happened.
I have a feeling that Bobo has used a lot of substances with certain properties that would allow you to see shit like Bigfoot in the woods. Call it a hunch. That's where the Bigfoot sightings with him came from. That's what made him a believer.
Animals jump out, but it's either usually deer, occasionally a black bear.
Okay, I was right. I'm like, I'm almost certain, because I know they have them in like South Carolina and shit, so I just took a guess.
I have seen black bears. I've had two even run across in front of me before. No comparison.
Oh, I know the comparison. The last two bears you saw was before this fucking show aired, and you thought to yourself, now that I saw this bear, I can be like, hey, these dumb motherfuckers will buy this shit. Yep, fucking Sasquatch, 10 foot fucking tall. Saw it with my own fucking eyes.
What I gathered from Mary Scott is that she firmly believed that they saw Sasquatch.
I'm waiting for one of these witnesses, and it's not necessarily a southern thing, it's just a woodsman, old like uncle thing in general, for them to be like, and nobody can question what I saw that day. I know what I saw that day. I was drunk, but I know what I saw that day.
After meeting with Mary and coming to this location and seeing the layout, we would be crazy if we didn't try to recreate it and see if it could be a prank.
I'll tell you, I have no interest in going out in the woods and fucking looking for Bigfoot, but I absolutely am interested in going into the woods with people that want to look for Bigfoot. I just want to collect as much data on that kind of fucking being as I can. It's like, I don't for a second believe in flat earth. I would love to have a conversation with a flat earther. I want to hear it. You know, I want to know just how intelligent the U.S. voters are. That's a comforting thought. Just remember, people like that, they vote. Got all the same rights you do, buddy.
The way we're going to do this reconstruction is we're going to get a car of the same size, and then we're going to drive at the same speed and have Bobo run across the road. We're hoping to shed some light on the size of the creature, the speed it was traveling.
How fast do bears walk? That's the speed it was traveling.
I'm really glad we got to come here in the daylight and see it ahead of time so we know exactly where to go and what to do.
Yeah, man, gotta like fucking make sure we see it in the sunlight, D. I didn't know Bobo was an honorary Grateful Dead member.
Coming around the bend, another mailbox now.
I didn't know Bobo could move that fast.
I didn't either, to be honest.
I've run in front of cars at night before, but I was always naked.
All right, Bobo. Thanks for letting us know that.
Sasquatches have different body proportions compared to humans. Their legs are shorter comparatively than humans, and their arms are longer.
That's the thing. It's like, what fucking proof do you have of that? Their legs are shorter and their arms are longer. Like, all right, Sasquatchologist, show me a living diagram of one. Oh, wait.
You and I will go down the path that the thing came from. We'll go down there, we'll make some sounds, we'll see if we can kick up some action.
All right, let me tell you something. I don't know if these guys have any experience hunting or being around wildlife that actually exists, but that is not how you find a big-ass fucking primate. Now, granted, I've never been primate hunting. I don't want to go primate hunting, okay? But I have a numerous and large experience hunting other animals. The key thing you do if you're wanting to catch one of these fuckers on film or something is, okay, you know where it's going. You saw it hopping over a fence and crossing the road. So you can map out from that. It's like, okay, this is where its trail is. Maybe let's set up some trail cams. They don't have a problem with that, considering that they have cameras all the time. It's like, set up a trail cam in front of right where it fucking crossed, you know? Look for water sources, you know, and try to triangulate this motherfucker and sit there at night in like a blind or a tree stand and wait. And fucking wait. You don't just, well, he went that way, so I'm gonna go that way. Alright, man. I mean, I don't really think it makes a difference. They're not gonna find him either fucking way, but if he is out there, they sure as fuck ain't gonna find it.
Very Legend of Sleepy Hollow here, man.
Yeah.
Wait, was Sleepy Hollow in Georgia? I thought that was in, like, Pennsylvania or Virginia. I mean, Georgia was one of the colonies back then, so maybe. Oh yeah, that's real fucking quiet. Just duck, climb, jump. That's the thing. It's like, you think this motherfucker was running around this long not getting caught because it was fucking dumb? It's got good hearing. I'm talking about it like it's fucking real. It doesn't even matter. You know? My inner, like, outdoorsman in me is sitting here like, no, that is not how you catch the mythological creature, okay? I will show you how to catch the mythological creature. Where are your trail cams?
The theory is that broadcasting these calls will draw in any Sasquatches from the area.
Okay, I mean, that makes sense. And it's hard because I don't know a whole lot about primates, and they're definitely more intelligent than deer. But a lot of animals, they're all about habit, and they don't trust things that are different to them. And I guess calling them would make sense because, you know, a deer will go for a deer call and everything because it's wanting to mate. But if you don't know when the fucking Sasquatch mates, all it's gonna do is be like, what the fuck is that? I ain't dealing with that shit. You know? Even then, you shouldn't be using a call on its trail, but it's like, find the fucking Sasquatch trail. You want to find the Squatch? Find the trail. I did not know I'd be doing this many Arlie Ermy impressions today.
Okay, I'm gonna do one long howl.
Oh, here we go. Best fucking moment right here. I've been getting that influx. You gotta get that fucking breath in. Gotta get that. Oh, I'm not gonna spoil it. It's so fucking good.
And now, Squatch calling with BENV.
How does he do it? Alright, let me try to do whoop, whoop. Okay, there we go. Let me get a sip of water. Alright, I'm gonna call a Sasquatch here. Whoop! 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 There we go. That's the best one I got. Woo!
This has been Squatch calling with BENV.
I'm just dicking around now.
Hit it, maestro.
Let me see your Squatch call. Let me see your war face. Oh. There's just something about, like, stupid people that makes me laugh, right? Like, and it's different because with the extreme cheapskates, I'm just so disgusted by these people. I don't want to interact with them. I don't want to talk to them. I don't want to hear what the fuck they have to say, you know? And with like, the extreme preppers and all that, they get pretty out there, but they're not... They're not out in the fucking woods at 3 o'clock in the morning going, woo, trying to call fucking Squatch in, man. I could just imagine being out in the woods, you like going fucking hog hunting, sitting behind a blind and hearing that fucking shit. Like, what the fuck? I didn't know wolves were in Georgia. Yeah, holy shit.
Some people sing in their cars. I do Bigfoot screams.
That's almost as good as the "when life gives you lemons, make stick weapons" guy. That dude's fucking awesome, by the way.
We got no owls and no coyotes and no nothing.
I love hearing people say coyote. It really grinds my dad's gears, because it's like, it's not like you're wrong for saying coyote, but it is pronounced coyote. And people are like, whoa, what about the Spanish version? Hispanic, it's coyote. That's how the Hispanics say it. You know, not, oh, coyote. No, coyote. Get it right, motherfucker.
So because it seemed so natural, we knew that there was a good chance down in those valleys that the thing might be hanging around. So we decided to split up a team into 2 groups.
You know, something I think about, right? Like, with the whole, yeah, we split up in 2 groups to go look for this thing. You think that little, like, 5'4" woman is going to be even a fucking small bit of work for a 10-pound gorilla guy? Like, this is like at least 500-pound animal that eats God knows what, you know, probably whole fucking deer or some shit. It's not like he's climbing for fucking bananas in Georgia. You know, like, this motherfucker's getting meat, you know what I mean? Yeah, and that's the other thing, it's like, well, why would it be that fucking scared of humans? You think that motherfucker gives a shit if it sees one of us walking over and they say the thing like, well, you know, most animals are more scared of us than they are of them, than we are of them. And it's like, yeah, that's true, but there's still plenty of fucking bear attacks. There's plenty of motherfuckers that got murked by a fucking gorilla in the Congo, you know? And that's the thing, they're not coming out there with guns or any shit like that. Side note, there is a show where rednecks, I think it's called Hunting Bigfoot or Bigfoot Hunters, where rednecks go into the woods with like AKs and ARs and hunt Bigfoot. We'll watch that on another fucking time. That one might even be better. We need to watch Mountain Monsters too. Let's find the fucking skunk man.
Cole, did you hear that? We got 2 knocks.
Oh yeah, here we go. Got the fucking knocks. Because that's what Sasquatch does. Sasquatch does the knocks. I was waiting for this too. There's so many, like, just fucking amazing aspects of the show. Like, you got the call, you got the knocks, you got Bobo being Bobo. Well, we're gonna go out in the woods with infrared cameras and shit and try to... Wait, what the fuck are you gonna do if you find this motherfucker? You gonna walk up and shake its fucking hand? It would thump you and break your neck, bro.
Just so you know, one of my claims to fame in the Bigfoot world is I was the one who discovered that Bigfoots do wood knocks and figured out that if you make sounds that they'll respond.
What? I mean, if you're gonna have a claim to fame, that's one way to do it. Just so you know, I was the guy who came up with the idea of knocking on a tree, and then my friend, like 200 yards away, also would knock on a tree, and I'd be like, that's Bigfoot.
No other Bigfoot researchers had ever figured that out or knew that before, because they didn't really go in the field very often.
Okay, dude, that's something other Bigfoot researchers didn't know about because they didn't go into the field. Well, they probably didn't go in the field. First off, I've never heard of a Bigfoot researcher doing anything other than going into the field. I have a feeling anybody else who researched Bigfoot, they got to page 1 and realized, oh, it doesn't exist. Alright, let's check out the fucking grizzly bear.
But if you go in expecting to hear something and you're looking for it, you might find it when it's actually not there.
I didn't realize they had, like, actually, like, well-studied people on here. I didn't realize they had a field biologist. I don't know if they're just saying that for the show, or if that's legit. She seems smart, so it probably is legit. But, side note with that right there, she's saying, like, well, if you're going into the woods expecting to hear something, you'll probably hear it. It's like, yeah, there's a lot of validity to that. It's kind of like the thing is, if you're going to a house that you were told is haunted, probably means you're going to start, quote-unquote, seeing things there really quick. Or it could be like in my case where I was in the woods, and I'll tell a whole story about that, where I didn't believe in ghosts, and I ended up seeing shit and hearing shit that changed my fucking mind on that, But I was coming into it as a skeptic. I wasn't coming into it looking for dead fucking spirits, But the thing with what she said that makes no sense is, what animal in Georgia, after it hears a knock on some tree trunks, is going to respond by knocking like that? That's not what they do. Now, those who are deer experts, they would know that a common thing that deer will do, like whitetails, whenever they are kind of suspicious of something, they're scared of it, but they're not scared enough to bolt, but they want to see what its deal is. Like, say if you're sitting perfectly still watching them. I've done this many, many times in person. And I'm talking like they're 30 yards away, if that. I'd be watching them, and they'd be looking right at me. And it's true, like, they can see color, but they can't really see that much of it. And people don't realize how camouflaged you are if you just stay absolutely fucking still. It's incredibly effective. I've proved that to myself and others many times. But sorry, I'm way rambling now. Sorry. Anytime somebody goes up in the woods, like, I know that shit. But the thing is with that, right? What a deer will do is it will knock on the ground, like it'll stomp on the ground, and it'll be looking at the thing that it's confused about while it's stomping, because it's trying to see if you'll move, if you'll bolt. Like, so if it stomps and then you move, poof, it's gone. But if it stomps and you're staying perfectly still, it's either going to have to smell you out or catch you at a different time, because you beat the move test. Thing is, they don't fucking beat on tree trunks twice right after you do it. So yeah, she's wrong about that.
We haven't heard anything for a while now, so the one last trick we can try on the way out is to be very conspicuous by having our lights on as we leave.
The only reason I'd think of that a big-ass primate would be following me in the woods because it wants to eat me, so I think that's a bad move, especially because a lot of predators, they feed on things that are specifically running from them because they think it's food, so I don't think that's very smart, But that being said, I mean, yeah, there's some validity to, like, walking around in the woods to stir things up. That's how people do deer drives and shit, because you can spook things to move, that they might move over to some areas and investigate. It depends on the animal. I've never seen that, but you'll stir shit up, and you'll flush out birds, that kind of stuff. The other thing that is true, and of course anybody who is a game warden or, again, knows anything about assholes who poach, is that a common thing that, or it's not common, but a common thing that poachers do is they'll fucking take a spotlight in the middle of the night, because you can't hunt deer at night, and they'll flash that spotlight at them, because deer really aren't that bothered by light. It's why they'll stand right in front of your fucking car, whenever it's 3 in the goddamn morning. They don't care, I shouldn't give tips on how to fucking do it. I've never done it before, never going to, obviously, Again, like, shining the lights around, I don't really think it would, like, just get the animal to see you, unless you know how the Bigfoot's eyes work, which they obviously don't. But I mean, what they're saying kind of makes sense, kinda.
Did you throw something?
No, did you?
No.
Holy shit! The producers threw something so we can get a better video.
We realized we needed more information to determine if there are really some Bigfoots in this part of Georgia. And the only way to get that information is to talk with the local people.
Oh, here we go. This is gonna get fucking fun. Yeah, that's the other thing I remembered with the show is they'll go to, like, the townsfolk and they'll ask them, like, how many of them have seen Bigfoot, and You'll notice that the more south they go, the more hands get lifted. But an equal amount of no Bigfoot finding. That equals out. They find absolutely zero of the Squatch. But goddamn Jimbo saw one. As a side note, I should also say this. I encourage just anybody to go outdoors in any way they can or feel like. You know, so I shouldn't be overly, like, insulting towards those kind of people. It's like, I go out there to shoot stupid animals and fucking... and fish and drive fucking four-wheelers and shit, you know, like, I can judge myself there too. But, yeah, there's nothing intrinsically wrong with going out into nature and observing nature, because even though, yes, they're going out for a dumb reason, it's like, still, they're going and seeing the birds, they're getting that fresh air, you know. I mean, if you want a good way to lower that depression some, man, and I know this from personal experience, just walking out into nature, turning the phone off, just walking out into nature, looking up at the fucking sky, looking at the birds, looking at the squirrels, all that, you know, and sitting perfectly still and realizing that every forest is a highway of animals, and you don't know it because you're visiting. But when you're hunting, that's kind of the difference, is you're not visiting when you're hunting. You're a part of the ecosystem there, you know, so you'll see what nature truly is.
And didn't move until the head, which was straight, came around and looked right at my car.
I knew what it was.
Again, only in the South. Like I said right off the bat, fucking, I know exactly what I saw that day.
I saw the creature.
Boy, that's a Southern woman. See, this is why I like watching these kind of shows, is I love understanding people. I wouldn't say I love people, but I like to know how people work. That's why I watch a lot of psychological stuff. I watch like a lot of Dr. Phil kind of stuff. You know, because I want to know what goes on in people's noggins. Like, you think to yourself, these people have dedicated their whole lives to traveling around the country looking for an animal that does not exist. Like, some men, it's pottery. You know, others, it's fixing cars. That guy, it's Bigfoot. And see, I don't think that going out and looking for alleged cryptids is necessarily bad, in the sense of, there's some of them that have been proven to be real. I think at one time the giant squid was considered mythical. Now it's known to be a fact, and like Forrest Galante, love him. His thing is going out and looking for cryptids and allegedly extinct animals. And he's found one or more animals that they thought was extinct and wasn't, you know? So there's always that, like the thylacine. I guess it would be considered a cryptid now because it existed at one time and it doesn't anymore. Like, there's videos of it, there's photos, all that. Thylacine, aka the Tasmanian tiger. That one, there's like a legitimate possibility it's still out there. You know, there's also shit like the giant sloth, you know, all that kind of stuff. So, again, you know, I see why people do that, but a Sasquatch, like, in Georgia? No.
I saw the largest thing I'd ever seen. Bear, no. Human, no. It's way too huge.
Well, I'll tell you now. First off, I might as well call this, like, Deer Hunter reacts to finding Bigfoot, because that's what the fuck this has become. You know, but I don't know what the scientific term for that is. I bet there's some kind of effect that exists that can explain it. You know, I'm not sure where. There are things that you think are bigger at a distance than they actually are, and there's also things that can be closer to you than you realize. Also, the opposite. You know, something can be farther than you realize. You know, the reverse is true. Like, I've been deer hunting, and I've shot bucks where I saw their rack. I'm like, yo, that's a wall hanger. That's like the biggest buck I've ever seen. I get up to it and I'm like, I mean, it's alright, but it didn't look like the way I saw it 150 yards back. That's how that is, you know. So I can kind of see what she means there. By that, I think in the sense of maybe it was a guy in like a black jumpsuit who she said was like, oh, you know, at least 8 feet, 10 feet, something like that, when in reality it was like a 6-foot guy who she just had it in her mind that it was taller.
It's a perfect opportunity to do a reconstruction using our own Sasquatch, Bobo.
I like how I mentioned that he looks like a Sasquatch, and right there they're like, our own Sasquatch, Bobo. Fair. That's also smart too, because they probably realize that effect as well and be like, well, let's put a human out there. Also, whenever you're in your vehicle, depending on what the vehicle is, you're sitting, and you might be sitting low to the ground. So if I was standing above a car, sitting in front of a car, even though I'm almost 6 foot tall, a woman could get confused and think I was 8 feet tall or something, when in reality it's just because she's sitting. So there's that.
Good to see you, bud. Thanks for coming out.
Dude, I'd love to live where he lives. That's fucking badass.
She showed us the photographs and said that her husband had taken them a few weeks prior to the meeting. The first thing I noticed about Jeff's footprint photographs is how crisp the toes were, which to me indicates that they were very, very fresh.
I gotta give him credit. He knows how tracks work and how they get worn off. You know, so I'm sure, like, I bet he's done some hunting before, because that was too well read for him to know. Unless he himself is like a zoologist or some shit.
We were walking in from this area, came up, saw the prints, and didn't really think much about it.
Jeff Allison, Georgia Bigfoot witness. Part-time mechanic, full-time Bigfoot witness. How many alcohols? I was gonna say, how many alcohols did you have before you saw the fucking Bigfoot, but I guess you just saw the track. Side note real quick, because he's talking about seeing shit that he didn't intend to see out in the woods. Halloween isn't that far away, and if you guys want me to, like, give out my full detail of like, my ghost story, tell me in the comments. I won't post it if I don't receive any feedback, you know, but if it's something y'all like to see, I'll tell you all about it. It's pretty fucking wild. Pretty wild.
The incident that John had, on one side it sounded credible, but on the other side there was elements that didn't add up. Is this guy making it up as he goes along?
Okay, so I don't believe your claims of seeing this thing that isn't real, that I think is real, that isn't real. I think you're lying about this thing that I've never seen either. That's just fucking great. Hell, you know what? If I was at one of those conventions and they're like, you know, yo, any of y'all seen Bigfoot? I'd be like, fucking yeah. And I'd tell them the greatest fucking story. I'd do it for the fun of it. I'd have like a few of my fucking buddies do it. We'd fucking sit around and drink and watch the motherfuckers running out in the forest with their fucking flashlights, fucking laughing at them. Hey, maybe I'd sit behind one of the trees and I'll do the fucking knocks with you. That's how BENV rolls.
Okay, what was the color of the skin? Was it the same as the forehead?
It was the same.
Well, that's not what they look like either.
Well, that's not what this thing that doesn't exist looks like either. I can't get it past. He acts like he's got a fucking Sasquatch in like a fucking cage at his house where he can. This is the animal's eye socket. Right. Okay. This is the animal's fur diagram. Okay, must jot that down. This is my synopsis. You don't fucking know, dude.
Like big wide eye sockets, or
yes.
He agreed. He said, "Yeah, big wide eye sockets," and that's directly the opposite.
Telling you this right now, that guy saw a bear and wanted to be on this show, so he said it was Bigfoot. That's exactly what happens, because bears don't have the sunken in eye sockets like that, and I think that's where he got that from.
Cliff was able to do the distance of that step. The only thing that couldn't be recreated was the depth of the soil.
Well, see, and that's the thing right here. Here's another bit of info from a guy who's done a lot of fucking down animal tracking, right? The heavier you are, the more sunk in those tracks are going to be. Bigfoot isn't fucking like 280 pounds like that guy is. You know, Bigfoot's probably around 600 fucking pounds, maybe like 800. So I guarantee you those tracks are going to be deeper because of that, because that's more pressure on the soil with each foot. Not to mention, you know, that's one of the ways of determining the size of a deer that you're tracking without seeing it, is seeing how sunken in the track is in the soil. Now, partially, mind you, whenever someone is running, and it doesn't matter what the animal is, it includes a person. The faster you run and the harder you're putting your feet on the ground, the more sunken in that track is going to be. So I guarantee you, if he ran across that trail, it would be even deeper. You know, so he knows. He's a smart guy about this shit. He knows that. He's just not saying it.
Jeff noticed that the footprints he stumbled upon impressed about a ½ an inch into the soil, whereas his footprints barely penetrated it at all. What that could tell me is that that creature was a lot heavier than Jeff.
Okay, so I misunderstood what he was saying. So he did know. I was thinking, like, is he trying to say this guy is lying? You know, because what he was saying made sense. And okay, so he knows what I know. Okay.
I think based on the context, the size, I think we're looking at Sasquatch footprints.
So what I think happened is now this is just my purely scientific opinion on this. These guys heard that the GFO, or whatever the fuck organization, was going to Georgia and heading to the Chattahoochee Reserve. And this man thought to himself, I am going to look up all these different facts about Bigfoot before these people show up, and I am going to make very good Bigfoot prints, and I'm going to print them down in the soil and take pictures of it. And when these people show up, my ass is going to be on TV. That, or the producers made all this shit up. Who knows? That's the two options there. Or it could have been Bigfoot. Who knows? Bah, bah, bah.
I wanted to look around the area because I know where Sasquatches go once, they usually go more than once.
I mean, but that's like with any animal, though. It doesn't really matter what it is. And granted, like whenever it's mating season and deer are in the rut and just whatever animal it is wanting to mate at the time, they won't just stick to their trails. They'll walk farther. You know, they'll walk across places they've never been before. They'll go to hunting leases they've never been before because they're looking for does. You know, they're looking for females. You know, but aside from that, animals they're habitual. They stay in their area. They get things mapped out in their head, and they follow trails and they follow things with their nose. You know, so he's right about that. But at the same time, it's like that's not like a special Sasquatch thing. That's an animal thing.
There's a track that from 10 feet you can see is a footprint. Not a hiker's print, a footprint. A large footprint.
A large producer's footprint.
What is the reported average height of an adult Bigfoot? A, 7 feet 10 inches. B, 14 feet 2 inches.
Depends on how drunk the guy is when he sees it.
Scientists were able to determine that the average height of an adult Sasquatch is A, 7 feet 10 inches.
You know why it shows the average height of Sasquatch is 7 foot 10 inches? Because there are humans that are that fucking tall. Now, I'm not saying everybody's going out and seeing these people with gigantism all the time. There's probably a couple cases of that. But traditionally it means that somebody saw like a 7-foot person and they thought that they were taller than they were, and so they went to town saying they saw an 8-foot person. That's where that metric comes from. The people who said they were 14 feet, I guarantee you were high on shrooms. That's the only way you're seeing a 14-foot anything in the fucking woods, unless you were in goddamn Africa and you stumble upon an elephant.
He didn't want you guys coming here taking his fish.
Of all the hats he had to wear, he chose like one of the most stoner worn hats, aside from like a Rastafarian beanie.
So Renee, what do you think now? Do you believe they exist?
Here's what I will say to you guys. I'm having a really difficult time finding an explanation for this.
Oh yeah, I remember that now. She's like the skeptic, quote unquote, to make them seem more valid. Like, look, we're not all crazy, just most of us, you know. They're not crazy. They're just dumb or odd. Some word to describe them other than regular. You ever notice in all of these like reality shows, there's always like the chumley of the group. Like there's Bobo, where it's always like the tall fat dude with like the double chin, long hair, and smokes a ungodly amount of fucking marijuana. Like you got Bobo, you got Chumley. I haven't seen that many reality shows, so I'm sure. Actually, you know what? What about there was the fat guy in American Pickers who they caught with a bunch of fucking cocaine, just like how they caught Chumley with a bunch of cocaine. So throw him in there too.
Oh, yeah! Clap!
I know. I know we can
check them out.
Very congratulations, bud.
Awesome.
From what I remember of the show, and like I said, I literally think it's been over a decade since I've watched any, like, Bigfoot episode. I don't remember them being, like, that successful every episode, you know, so I definitely understand now as to why they found, like, the Bigfoot prints on Season 1, Episode 1, because they're trying to get newcomer audiences to be like, see, it's fucking out there, you need to keep watching, so... That's why they had the producers do that.
This is a perfect situation for us to use the rooftop thermal imagers. We can put them on top of our vehicle, cruise slowly down the road, and just look to the left and right.
You know, it's moments like this where I'm definitely a capitalist, right? I'm not about anything like that, but I will say, it's like, instead of spending all that money on Bigfoot cameras and equipment and just all this crazy shit, you could have taken it and you could have spent it on food and given it to people who did not have any. Instead of use it to go fucking research the mystical creature that ain't there.
The smaller Georgia trees and the scant underbrush means our thermals will see further into the forest than it would in other places.
If this is the kind of shit that Bigfoot hunters back in like 2012 had, God knows what the fuck the CIA's using. You best never get on their fucking radar, goddamn.
But we didn't want to do this alone, so we called in the cavalry.
Oh, yeah.
It's the Georgia chapter.
Ah, hell yeah, more unfuckable white dudes.
What we're about to do has never been done before. Nowhere have this many cars been used in a caravan of thermal imaging.
$100 says they find an actor in a fucking monkey suit.
All right, folks, is anybody seeing anything? Any animals, anything at all?
Seeing a bunch of unfuckable white dudes. Breaker 19, plenty of unfuckable white dudes. That is the greatest Joe Rogan quote ever, is the unfuckable white dudes.
Hey guys, it's Delta Car. I see something. I definitely have a hit. Come over here and check this out. Oh my god.
Oh, holy shit, actor in a monkey suit. Something my question, like, and I guess it doesn't matter considering they saw Bigfoot, aka the actor in a monkey suit, but don't you think that if you're looking for a very skittish and wired animal that's always running away from people, maybe you shouldn't be driving around in circles with your lights on? In non-electric cars, you know, like, you think you're kind of sticking out like a sore thumb there, you know? Shit.
Somebody saw a large figure moving through the woods. We're gonna let the volunteers head back home. We're gonna get our backpacks on and head in on foot.
Oh, yep, now we're on our fucking own out here out in the Squatch Woods. We let the fucking volunteers go. Gotta break out the fucking calls.
I'm gonna do 3, so expect the high-pitched, shrieky ones.
Oh, got different kind of calls. You got the high-pitched shriekies and the fucking woo! I'm gonna love to see the comments of this one.
Copy that.
This aired on fucking Animal Planet, by the way. I'll tell you guys something interesting real quick about it being on Animal Planet. There's a concept known as network decay, where a station will air, you know, like whenever it first comes out, it will come out with top tier, very educational content. For instance, you know, TLC, a lot of people don't know this, TLC literally stands for the Learning Channel. Like back in like the 90s and like early 2000s, it was a very educational show. It was like another Discovery Channel. Well, the more it kept going, and the more different trends in junk television started rising, like reality TV, you know, hitting that, I mean, making a critical rise, and I think around the mid-2010s, that's when you start seeing the Cake Plus 8, and Here Comes Honey Boo Boo, and fucking My 600-Pound Whale Life, like, all that shit, you know, and on Animal Planet, I figure it's the same thing, like, I bet they started with, hey, this is the history of the fucking Bengal tiger. 20 years later, it's, woo! They're fucking Sasquatch!
Sorry, Mom.
Did they ask if they just did a howl?
Did you guys just do a howl?
No, we did not do a howl.
You know, coyotes do exist, and they do sound pretty similar to that, I don't know if they're in Georgia, but considering they're in, like, every other part of the U.S., I bet they're probably in Georgia making that sound out there in front of you.
Matt thinks he just heard a howl.
From what direction, please?
I couldn't tell which direction it was coming from.
God damn, you're being loud, dude. No wonder you haven't found the mystical creature yet. I'm never gonna be able to get over that part where it's like, I'm watching this as a deer hunter in my perspective of like, yeah, no wonder you haven't shot the deer yet. And in the back of my mind it clicks, it's like, well, they're trying to get a video of fucking Mr. Squatch. So I don't think any of my tips are gonna help much there.
I stood down there a while looking to see if I could pick something up, but it appeared to be moving away, and that seems to be what happened. But we had a greater appreciation for what's going on in North Georgia with Sasquatches, and it was a good expedition for us.
Instead of pursuing the mysterious sound that we pray to see, and pray to see the sound, that we pray to hear while we're out there, we're just going to turn around and walk home. Like I said, it is the greatest fucking show ever made. It's hard for me to think it was even made, honestly. I was about to say hard for me to believe it's real. God knows how much of it was scripted, but at the end of the day, what about the scripting matters considering they're looking for Bigfoot, for fuck's sake. And I know that the people that star in this, they really do believe in Bigfoot, so it makes it worth it.
We came here to investigate the first dash cam video footage ever recorded, and to ask the question, are there Bigfoots here in northern Georgia?
And the conclusion is, there isn't. Well, that was, I was about to say, me watching some more discussing people doing disgusting things in a very cheap way. I'm like, oh yeah, this isn't the fucking extreme cheapskates. For one thing, I'm gonna back off on that for a while because I feel like I've done so much of that. I don't want to just be known as like the extreme cheapskates guy. I think I did like 6 of them in a row, 7, something like that. I'll do more if you guys want me to do more, but I want to get into some of these other shows. Like, if you guys like this, I'm gonna do some more Finding Bigfoot. My God, I liked it, you know. Thinking about setting up a Twitch and playing guitar on there for y'all, you know, so that would be cool. Maybe I'm also thinking about maybe setting up a Patreon as well. If you could check out my SoundCloud, Spotify, all that, that'd be sick. I make music like this.
Fans watching me trying to cop a damn conviction. I keep a Gaza piece that they got over in Yemen. I am a free agent. I do what I want. I'm in bank casing in case I want some.
And I'll catch y'all later. Have a good one.